when they were just warming up. And they was giving me life when they were just warming up. Let me let you know right now. Okay, and we are so excited to have the Eflin Lassiter's Dance Ensemble presenting We Dance Theater Project. With us again this year, We Dance Theater Project is made up of dancers from all dance styles and techniques that have the passion to perform and bring enlightenment to historical and meaningful issues. They will be performing a piece commemorating the Greensboro sit-ins of the Civil Rights era, which is called the Sit-In. Choreography by Eflin Lassiter. The dancers are Ariel Boone, Leslie Collins, Willie Hinton, and I want you all to get ready to be amazed by the Eflin Lassiter Dance Ensemble. Give it up!
I hear you.
On February 1st, 1960, it really represents a milestone in my life. My colleagues, Joseph McNeil, the late David Richmond, and Giselle Blair, had been discussing democracy and the lack of it in this country, particularly as it relates to African Americans. And we had chewed on the subject since September of the previous year, 1959. And thought that democracy as practice, for the most part, was a real hypocrisy, particularly related to African Americans. And we wondered why our parents hadn't taken a stand. We determined that we were responsible for achieving our American dignity, and we had to do something about it. And we quickly concluded that there was no better example than the F.W. Woolworth 5 and 10 cent store. You could shop at 43 counters, but number 44, which was a lunch counter, was off limits to you if you were African American. And we decided on Sunday night, January 31st, well, actually it wasn't Sunday. Sunday night was already Monday morning. It was about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning on February 1st, that we were going to go to Woolworth, sit down, and demand to be served at the lunch counter. Being killed, trying to achieve your rights and some sense of dignity, it might be worth it. I wasn't too convinced that life was worth living without manhood and dignity. Even though we hadn't been served, I felt a true sense of victory. And I felt a true sense of victory because we had what I thought was outwitted the opposition. And we had pressed them in a corner where they didn't know what to do. And it said to me that they are right for us to return tomorrow to continue what we'd started today on February 1st.
February 13th was our first sit-in Nashville. On the sit-in we had about 130 kids. I think on the stage many of us didn't realize just how important our movement was going to be.
The targets of the Nashville students were the lunch counters of the city's 2 largest department stores and 4 variety stores. And for the first time, the community was confronted with Negroes in places where they had never been.
When you go to a counter
You do not request that the person sitting next to you get up and leave. You really come in, sit down beside him, as any human being would do. You cause no violence. You have no angry words. You're friendly, and it sort of helps to project the idea that here sits beside me another human being.
Altogether, with a moving feeling within me that I was sitting there demanding a God-given right, and my soul became satisfied that I was right in what I was doing. At the same time, with something deep down within me, moving me, that I could no longer be satisfied or go along with an evil system, but I had to be maladjusted to it. And in spite of all of this, I had to keep loving the people who denied me service, who stared at me.
During the early weeks of February 1960, the demonstrations that came to be called the Sit-In Movement exploded across the South. Within a period of 2 months, the movement had spread to 65 cities involving every southern state, with the exception of Mississippi. The new tactic came as a surprise, creating bewilderment and confusion in the white communities and even among the Negroes themselves.
As the sun rose up over the sea, everyone was singing in a minor key. Buddhists, Hindus, Jews, and priests gathered around for the Jubilee. Two old ladies still waiting on the sign, growing bitter with age like a yellowtail. Shouting at the junkies in the cold street light, do the next right thing or the next thing right. Oh, you're a long way from home. Hear me sing, oh, people need a miracle to do the next right thing. Hey, the posters and the fire preachers. Hey, diddle, now the fiddle screechers. Rolling up the stairs and rolling in bed. She been talking to God since 2 a.m. Saying, I don't wanna go, I don't wanna die, but her sister's gotta save her seat in the sky. You can judge me, bring me, shed some light, do the next right thing or the next thing right. Oh, you're a long way from home. Hear me sing, oh, people need a miracle, do the next right thing. Oh, you're a long way from home. Hear me sing, oh, people need a miracle, do the next right thing.
Who came and knocked at the back door and asked for something to eat. But they have always reserved the right to eat only with invited guests.
I have thought for a long time that Negroes should be allowed to sit at the counters where we are served downtown. This is just a part of many things that I think they should be allowed to do. I have felt that it really was not fair for them to be served in the stores as customers and not be allowed certain services, denied certain services within those same stores.
It's just like one snake is like a snake is on kind, then he was another maybe. Something like that. I mean, a lion might like a lion. Now another lion doesn't with a bear. That's just like white people and niggers. I mean, white people naturally don't like white people better than niggers.
Well, it's just not the things we're used to down here. I mean, they come in and they sit down, and we're not used to them sitting down beside us, because I wasn't raised with them. I never have lived with them, and I'm not going to start now.
sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. It's a new life for me, yeah. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. It's a new life for me. Ooh, and I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean, don't you know? Butterflies all having fun, you know what I mean.
Great job.